Hey, it's Rachel Cunningham, and you're listening to Joyful Love, episode 76. If you're ready to bring joy and connection back to your marriage, stick around. Each week, I give you the tools to up-level your thinking, open your heart, and bring joy and fun back to your relationship. Because it's not enough just to stay married. We want to love being married. If you're listening to this on the day it's released, it is, in fact, Valentine's Day. And I was going to do an entire episode on Valentine's Day, but I really decided that I just didn't want to this year. Sometimes I just don't want to create content around whatever Hallmark holiday there is, and sometimes I do. So, although I will be talking to you about why you're not sticking to your goals today, something that I know many of you are starting to wonder 6 weeks after the New Year's, I will say this one thing about Valentine's Day. No matter where your relationship is right now, I really encourage you to just pause and find gratitude in this moment. Ask yourself, what is one thing that I appreciate about my partner today? Focus on that. Focus on appreciation today. Yes, there's growth that still needs to happen, but I welcome you to find that appreciation and then to welcome in trust as well. Trust that you and your partner will, in fact, create change where it's needed this year. Not 5 years down the road, but this year. Honestly, if you really trusted yourself to create massive change this year in the areas that you want to, how excited would you be just to love, accept, and really start to appreciate yourself and your partner right now? So for today, just practice being present with your partner. Look at them, engage with them. Whether you have a super fun celebration planned or not, or whether you already celebrated over the weekend, just be present and notice the good that is right before you, even if you don't have any celebrations planned at all, right? Can you just simply be present and say, oh, this is Love Day. You can even replace the Valentine's Day with Love Day. I love that, right? So this is Love Day. I'm just going to appreciate myself. I'm going to appreciate my partner. I'm going to appreciate what we have right now, right? Many of you tell me that connection is your biggest issue. Appreciation for what is already good is one of the quickest ways to a simple moment of genuine connection. And that's all you need on this lovely Valentine's Day. And before we talk about the topic today, I want to share with you another client celebration from this week. This one comes from a client who's been working with me for about 3 months. During our session, she said, Rachel, this work is changing our lives. She said, I feel so much more at ease around my husband now. It's like I get him for the first time in years. She went on to just say that there was so much more compassion in their conversations. And she even said, this blew my mind. I love this. She said, I feel like at the age of 41, I finally get what love really is. Wow. That is the magic of thought work and coaching and of digging deep to uncover the truth of what's really going on in your own mind and in your partner's mind. It's the magic of stepping back and being able to see to the heart of yourself and your partner. This client came to me with her biggest problem being connection. She felt like they were growing apart, and although they worked fine together, they just didn't have much in common anymore. They were just kind of going through the motions of life, right? She wanted to welcome back in more fun and heart-to-heart conversations. And boy, did she. If you hear that testimonial and you're thinking, I want that, I want you to book a free consultation with me right now. You can go to rachelcunningham.com/work with me, and you can have this story too. You simply have to decide to. You have to decide that it's important enough to get the help you need. Okay, with that said, let's move on to today's topic. I think you're going to like it. We're going to talk about why you're giving up on your goals and what to do about it, what to finally do about it, right? So why do we have goals in the first place? Let's look at a toddler, like let's go back even further. Let's look at maybe a 9-month-old to maybe a 12-month-old. That toddler is not asking themselves, why do I have the goal of walking without falling, right? The child is not pondering it. He just knows that walking is a part of human growth, right? Internally, he knows that. And when he learns to walk, he'll start to want to learn to climb, right? He'll get another goal. I want to learn to climb. And when he learns to climb, he'll want to learn to run. You can look at the personal development of a child, and even as moms and the doctors who check up on these children, we ask ourselves, is this child who is in our care meeting milestones or not? And it's the same with adults. We don't just stop developing. We are meant to continually, personally develop for the rest of our time here on earth. Sometimes that's going to mean focusing on our physical health. Other times it'll mean developing emotional maturity. Other times our personal development will be spiritual growth. They're all good. They're all worthy of pursuit. And they're all part of a normal human experience. So it's no wonder that at the beginning of each year, we see that as a great moment to dig in deeper on our goals. So what happens though? You decide from your higher self that you need to make a change in a certain area, whether it's to stop drinking so much or to focus on your health in another way or to improve your relationships, to communicate better, to go get a job that fulfills your soul more, right? You get motivated about whatever your higher self told you to do. You make a list of what you want to do. You set a time frame to accomplish it. You say, okay, by June of this year, I'm going to have accomplished this much of my goal, right? You're motivated. You're excited. You even spent time uncovering your big why this time. And then you get started and you take a step forward and then you take another step forward. And oh my gosh, you're going to succeed this time. You can feel it. And then out of nowhere, the hurdles that you leaped over for 2 weeks suddenly seem so much harder to leap over. And your brain loses all motivation. And once again, you've stopped pursuing the goal. You've forgotten your big why, right? You've forgotten how to motivate yourself. So today I'm going to show you what you need to discover so that you can really understand the root of the issue of why you seem immune to completing your goals. We've talked about the self-coaching model in here before. It's a way to look at making change with a specific circumstance in the moment. And it's a way to uncover the truth of why you're not getting the results that you want in life. So that is part of it. When you practice the self-coaching model, it'll change your life when you really understand it. So for those of you who are new here, let me go over it with you again. There are 5 categories of life. There's your circumstance, your thought, your feeling, your actions, and your results. Your circumstance is just a fact. It's just a circumstance that happened outside of your control. Your thought is a sentence in your brain that you have about that circumstance. And then that thought generates a feeling or emotion in your body. And that emotion drives you to take action or inaction. And then you get the results you have in life from that action, right? So thought work is the practice of seeing the full picture of a circumstance and actively choosing a thought that creates a feeling that serves you and that will drive you to take action and then create the results you want in life. Thought work is a powerful tool that has been taught in many different ways for thousands of years, from Jesus to Buddha to modern day philosophers. It's not a new concept. It's just the truth of how the world works with humans, right? Our thoughts drive our feelings, drive our actions, drive our results. There is power in our thoughts, and it's why I teach my clients how to bring awareness to their thoughts and to understand them and question them and to intentionally create change in their lives. And it works. But here's the kicker. If there is a goal or a result that you are actively working towards, and you keep repeating the same model over and over, and you're not consistently taking action to get the results that you want, it's time to dig deeper. You can come up with the best thoughts all day long about your goal. But if you're not aware of the subconscious beliefs that are sending your survival brain on high alert, you're going to lose motivation and decide once again to play it safe and to not accomplish the goal. There's a book called Immunity to Change by Robert Kegan and Lisa LaHaye. It talks about what to do about our struggles to make certain changes in our lives. And the tips I'm sharing with you today are based on the framework in that book. So according to Robert Kegan and Lisa LaHaye, immunity to change is an inability to change because of deep-rooted assumptions or beliefs that could come from past messages from childhood or from other people or from past circumstances. These assumptions that we have, these deep-seated beliefs, create competing commitments. So you have the commitment to achieve your goal, right? Your higher brain is like, okay, I'm committed. I'm going to commit to achieving my goal. But then your survival brain has a competing commitment to play it safe because it's assuming that change would equal a big risk in some way. These assumptions that your survival brain is making may be so entrenched that you don't even know they're there. You don't even realize it. So an example might be if you want to get more healthy and more fit. You know how to do it. You just have to take action. Eat healthier foods, stop eating processed foods, and work out, right? Sounds simple. So you start taking action, and then you stop taking action. And once again, you blame it on a lack of motivation. You say, I'm just not motivated. Or maybe you're criticizing yourself and you say, I'm just too lazy to commit, right? But the heart of the matter might be what your survival brain has learned over time to be afraid of. Your survival brain has a fear of moving forward. I just helped a client uncover this, and her underlying fear was that she was afraid to long-term commit to eating less sugar because it was the only time she had fun during the day. She said, that's my reward. That's like my okay, I made it through the day with all these kids and my work, and oh my gosh, I'm just like, it's my time to relax. It's her time to have fun. Her dessert every night was her reward. So not being able to honor her commitment of eating healthy wasn't a lack of motivation. It was her belief that to relax and have a small piece of joy every day, sugar had to be a part of that. So once we uncovered that, we were able to look at the belief and understand why her subconscious wanted to give up all the time, right? We had to uncover other ways to have fun for her and to help her survival brain say, hey, there's other ways. It's okay, right? We had to help her survival brain feel safe to commit instead of fighting against her higher brain. Another client she felt like they were spending way too much money. Her husband felt like they were too on eating out. And she really wanted to stop eating out. She was trying over and over to do it, but they just kept giving up on it. They just kept eating out almost every night, right? They spent more money on dining out than they had on their mortgage, and they both wanted to start saving that money to spend on other things. So through our work together, she was able to see that her real fear was feeling resentment again towards her husband. I'm going to explain to you how we uncovered that later, but basically she thought that if she committed to cooking more at home, she was going to be committing to doing more than her husband in one more area around the house, right? So we were able to look at this from a much bigger picture when we understood that fear that she had and make change where it was actually needed instead of just judging herself for losing motivation again. We could understand her survival brain's desire to maintain connection with her husband. And if she didn't cook and clean at night, then her brain says, we both get a break. We're both on even ground, right? So you see how it's so important to uncover these subconscious beliefs that keep you listening to your survival brain instead of your higher brain. It's not a motivation issue. It's not a laziness issue. It's a belief issue. It's a fear issue. It's a deep-seated message that your survival brain learned at some point or another and kept believing. So how do you do this yourself? How do you uncover your survival brain's competing messages? And then what? How do you train your survival brain to stop assuming the worst, to stop believing those messages? You can stop quitting on your goals. You can achieve them once and for all. Here's how. First, decide on one personal development goal. What is it? Why do you want to achieve this goal? Describe the actions that you need to commit to for this goal to be achieved. And if you're not sure what actions you need to take towards your specific goal, I want you to imagine yourself already having completed it. Tap into that future self who has already done the goal that you want to do. And then ask her, hey girl, what'd you do to get there? She'll tell you, right? She will tell you the next 1 or 2 or 3 steps that you need to take. That the answers are already in you. Okay, next I want you to ask yourself, this is where we're going to start to get into the beliefs that are scary, okay? I want you to imagine yourself taking those actions right now and every day for the next 2 weeks. What would be scary about that? What would you dread about taking those actions? What would you have to give up to do it? What is so scary about committing to those actions over and over until you meet your goal? Ask these questions enough, and you'll begin to uncover your own competing messages, right? For example, my client who wanted to stop eating out so much, when she said, okay, in our session, she said, okay, starting tonight, if I made this change, and pretty quickly, her fear immediately said, oh, I can't do it tonight. I would have to plan, and I don't have time. Plus, I'll be the one responsible for dinner. And she started imagining her husband coming home and just sitting down and doing whatever he wanted while she worked in the kitchen making dinner. So we started uncovering that her real fear was that she would end up being resentful towards her husband again. And that she didn't have to want to deal with that confusion of the lack of teamwork and things like that, right? So her commitment to not feeling resentful towards her life and towards her husband was competing with the commitment to save money and eat healthier. Now that we understood the truth, we knew what to look at. Not just to tell her to power through and commit and to suck it up and do it. But we had to understand that she had that competing commitment. So now we could focus on helping her survival brain remember that her and her husband were equals. And that part of that was to feel safe asking for help. Right? And that led us to a whole other coaching session, right? But it helped us to deal with the problem at hand instead of just her criticizing herself over and over for not being motivated. So now I want you to ask yourself enough questions that you will find your own fears. What are you afraid of if you consistently take action towards your goals? What beliefs or assumptions are you holding on to? They may be deep in your subconscious, and you may need a professional to help you uncover them. But it's worth doing the work to find them so that you can really begin understanding why you keep starting and stopping your own personal goals. Okay, the next step is once you understand what those subconscious fears are, now it's time to actually test the truth of those fears. So your brain, your lower brain, is offering you a story. It's offering you a story like it's scary to do this, or I won't have time to do this, or I'll feel resentful if I do this, or I feel frustrated if I do this, or I'll have to give up fun if I do this, right? So whatever your personal scary story is, it's time to test that story to see if it's true. The way you do that is by taking small steps forward. Don't jump in and do a massive amount of change. It's too scary for your survival brain. It'll want to back off. It'll say, oh, this is too much. I can't do this. Just go do the thing again. We'll start in 5 months again, right? Or we'll start on Monday again, right? This is too scary. So yes, even those of you who are perfectionist and you think you have to do all the goals at once, and the quicker you achieve the goal, the better. I want you to know that the turtle wins this race, friends. If you've started and stopped the same goal 5 times, I'm talking to you. You will get there quicker if you start small and get to the root of the problem that's holding you back. So this is part of helping your survival brain feel safe, giving it very small steps first. And this way you won't give up. You'll just start to understand yourself, and you'll understand the root of the issue. You'll be able to question whether things are true or not. And if they are true, you'll learn what to do about it. So start small. My client who was scared that cooking at home would lead to less time for herself and more resentment in her marriage, we started with 2 nights per week so that she could test what worked, what the truth was, how she actually felt and why, and then what she could do to overcome those fears. When she tested, she realized her survival brain was not right. She realized it was less time to cook than it was to eat out. She was done with dinner and able to relax about 30 minutes quicker than eating out most nights. So the thoughts that she was believing about going out to eat, saving her time, was simply not true. She also realized that there were simple changes her and her husband could make around these 2 nights per week to work better as a team, and that she didn't have to be resentful towards him. And he was on board because it was small enough for him, right? He has his own animal brain or survival brain too that has certain resistance to different things. So once you understand that you have a survival brain sending you messages, you also get to understand that your partner has a survival brain sending them messages, and you're able to work with them easier when you understand this. Now, her ultimate goal is to start cooking at home 6 nights out of 7. But we started small so that her brain could get on board without it being too scary so that she wouldn't want to give up. So this process will help you understand why you keep giving up on your goals. It's not because you're lazy or not good enough. It's not because you're not committed enough. It's probably not even because you don't have a big enough why. It's because something has led your lower brain to kick into survival mode when you don't need it to, right? You need that survival mode when there's an actual tiger chasing you or when you're actually in physical danger. Otherwise, you need your higher brain to step in and say, hey, here's the right steps to take. Let's make them, right? So this is a process I've started taking my own clients through who are constantly reneging on their own goals. And it's really helping them to understand themselves in a deeper way so that they can make true growth. You know, you can have the biggest desire for change. You can have the greatest why that you want to make that change. But if something in your protective belief system is telling you, oh, that's scary, you will keep starting and stopping on your goals. So if you think you might have to give up freedom or status or safety in any form, it'll keep holding you back. So I welcome you guys to understand your mind on a deeper level. If you want to work with someone to help you uncover those deeper issues in your life, from your personal goals to your relationship, I invite you to come work with me one-on-one. This is what we do. I help you understand how to see things from a new perspective and to create the life that you want with compassion and love and intention. The first call is free. On that call, we'll get clear on where you are now and where you want to be. And I'll help you understand what you need to do to cross that bridge to get there. You can book a free consultation call with me at rachelcunningham.com/work-with-me. All right, friends, happy Love Day. Again, welcome in that little ounce of appreciation today. It'll make all the difference. Come back next week for another episode. Thanks for listening to Joyful Love. If you'd like to know more about my work, come visit me at rachelcunningham.com. That's Rachel, spelled with an A-E-L, Cunningham.com.